Hey guys, okay, I just want to make this video because this is on my mind and I need to get it off my mind because today is my daughter's 12th birthday. I'm in the line now to pick her up. Took off from work today, so I need to get this crap off of my mind so I can refocus and all the energy be on her. But I want to talk about perception. I've had, so many conversations, of course, living this black experience about the strength of our people, and that we are survivors and we're strong. And sometimes I would think about that, like, well, are we really strong? Because the systematic oppression of us as a people has taken a toll. So are we really strong? Is what I would ponder sometimes. And that is being very general, of course, because of course there are many of us that are succeeding and thriving, especially how you want to measure that. If you want to measure it from a perspective of, do you own a home? Do you own transportation? Do you, have housing that you pay for on your own, nice housing? Are you able to take care of your kids? Do you have a higher level of learning? Do you have a great career? Do you have a great income? How you want to measure that success? Are you happy? Are you spiritually rich? Notice I didn't say religious. I'll leave that alone right there. But yeah, so you could have a healthy debate about just how strong are we, considering that often we are at the top as a people of every bad list and at the bottom as a people of every good list. And maybe that's too general too, because you think about everything that's always pushed out to us, including stats and all of that, it's a lot. But today I've come to a conclusion on that topic, and I say we are strong as hell. We are indeed the strongest people alive. We are. Because the systemic oppression that we have been under for generations, it doesn't stop. So listening to information about Stephon Clark, who was shot in Sacramento, 20 times in his grandmother's backyard. Police heard that somebody was vandalizing cars in the neighborhood. This young man is in his grandmother's backyard. He has his cell phone. They think he's the perpetrator. And so they shoot at this man 20 times, killing him in his grandmother's backyard. And I hear today that, well, they perceived that they were under the perception that their life was in jeopardy. Why? Because see, nobody ever addresses that. We know why, right? And in that perception in the Alton Sterling case, district attorney said, we're not bringing any charges, We're not bringing any charges against the police, They perceive that as a threat to them. It's perception. So if you are in a country under a white supremacist system where our men in particular, but women as well, but really our men at a higher degree, are perceived as a threat because of the blackness of their skin, How we win that? It doesn't even matter. Same type of situation, and it's a white guy, and it ends differently. We got mass shooters. Mass shooters. White, male, young. They managed to get arrested. You've seen those videos where somebody's wilding out, just a white person wilding out, have hammers and chainsaws and all that kind of stuff. Somehow, they managed to get arrested. Black man in the backyard of his grandmother's house with a cell phone gets shot 20 times because he was perceived as a threat. Perceived as a threat because he was black. So I say we are strong as fuck because the systemic oppression that we live under does not let up. And it's everywhere. It's not just in these shootings. It's in our workplaces. We are always battling perception there too. When people judge you based on perception because you're black, and they judge you negatively where they can kill you, they can not promote you, they can deny you access to resources that any other citizen should have the right to. You can be denied, supposedly not legal, but as far as people trying to buy homes in certain areas or rent in certain areas, get loans and funding for personal loans in our businesses, you get. So it's just a lot. Okay. So I just come to the conclusion that we are strong as fuck as a people because we are under this system of oppression now for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And yet, we are not the ones to perpetrate the mass shootings. We are not the ones with hate groups. We're not. We as a people, we are strong as fuck. Because under this white supremacist system that we live under, that we are oppressed by, that we have to live with every day, that impacts our lives daily in ways you would never understand if you don't live in black skin. Okay? And yet we are not the ones who are snapping out here with mass shootings and hate groups. Because quite frankly, it would be more understandable if we were doing that, considering hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years and counting of systemic oppression. But we're not. So it's just a lot. It's like today when I heard that, man, when I heard that about, the police perceived Stephon Clark as a threat in his grandmother's backyard with his cell phone. So you killed this man with kids. You killed this man. You killed this man because you perceived him as a threat because he's black. Because he's black. You perceived him as a threat and you overreacted. You did not act the same way you would have if that had been a white man in his grandmother's backyard. First of all, you would not have assumed that he was the perpetrator. Even if the call had come in and said that there's somebody vandalizing cars in the neighborhood and it's a white male. If there was a white man in his backyard, his grandmother's backyard, you would never be able to convince me that cops would have come in ablazing and shot that white man who only had a cell phone. That does not happen. So I say, I'm listening to this and I'm like, I just can't take it no more. I can't listen to any more anything today. No news or anything. I don't even know why. The Sanders woman, she was on my TV. I said, oh my God, let me turn to the Cartoon Network because it's all cartoons. And, they asked her about what happened in Sacramento, and she's like, it's a local issue, and then went on this tirade like she does with everything. But then she went on this tirade about this president is, concerned about safety for everybody, and in schools, and gang violence and drugs. That's how we connected. Now y'all see what's happening, right? Because what happened to Stephon in Sacramento did not have anything to do with gangs and drugs. It had to do with the fact that he was black. So I was like, where could I go on vacation? I need a vacation from being black. I need a vacation from being black. I need a vacation. If I could get like maybe 3 days, I think it's going to have to be on a deserted island somewhere, where there's absolutely no people, no TV, no cell phones, no anything, no outside world can get in, because it is a lot, and it's non-stop. It is a lot. So I will never, ever debate the strength of us as a people. I will never debate the strength of us as a people, because we are strong, because no one else could take what we've taken and survive. No one else could. No one else could take what we've taken. You think about what we've taken. Because you know what? And I'm a Black Panther fan. Black Panther movie fan. Wakanda Forever, all of that. T'Challa, Killmonger, who was my favorite. Fan of all of that. But black people, the fictitious Wakanda and the people of Wakanda has nothing on black people living out in a colonized world for hundreds and hundreds of years, bearing systemic oppression, systemic racism. Because the people in Wakanda were strong as they were and advanced as they were because they managed to, in this fictitious story, to not be contaminated by outside forces, to not be colonized, to not be destroyed, disrupted, torn apart, marginalized as humans. That's a fictitious world. Enjoyed the movie. Love seeing the idea of what could have been. Love that. But that's fictitious. We as black people have been out here for hundreds and hundreds of years, bearing the unthinkable. So yeah, you can have whatever perception you want. Others can have whatever perception they want. But there is one truth for sure. We are strong as fuck. And we are the strongest.